have a favorite t-shirt? Let me tell you about my favorite t-shirt. I got this yellow t-shirt from my sister-in-law on the day of my brother's funeral. After the funeral, we went back to the house. While we were all talking, I got her aside and I said, "Hey, do you think that I could have one of Billy's t-shirts? I wanted to wear it as a fond remembrance, as a tribute." And she said, "Yes, it's not a problem." And I picked out the bright yellow one with the state of Kentucky, and it says Rolling Thunder KY5. The next day, I put on the shirt, and I felt proud and humbled to wear this yellow shirt. My brother Bill was a veteran, and he was active in many veterans groups, including the VFW, the American Legion, Rolling Thunder. Bill was also very active with the Patriot Guard. This is another veterans group that sets up flags outside the funerals of veterans and escorts the bodies from the funeral to the cemetery. One of the members of the Rolling Thunder Kentucky 5 posted a picture on Facebook remembering their fallen brother. And the picture that he chose to put on that was my brother Bill wearing the same shirt. And when I saw that, it kind of gave me a chill. So now when I wear this shirt, I wear it as a tribute to my brother and all the great things that he did. When he was right out of high school, he joined the U.S. Army and served. And when he got out, he was raising a family. And at one point, he had 4 children and expenses were tight. He joined the Kentucky National Guard. And with that, what you do is you serve 1 weekend a month and you do 2 weeks every summer. And he did that for many years. He served proudly. And after 9/11, he joined full-time as Kentucky National Guard. That time, he was a Warrant Officer 1, but he worked his way up through the ranks. And when he retired from the Army, he was a CW5, Chief Warrant Officer 5, and many people respectfully referred to him as Chief. "Hey, Chief." And I saw a Facebook post that said, "Oh, we're going to miss our chief." His sudden death occurred while he was riding his Harley-Davidson motorcycle. It was a 3-wheeled model. It was a special edition. It said U.S. Army right on it, and it had a white star, just like they had on World War II Army vehicles. He was coming back from a cemetery. It was at Memorial Gardens that day, along with the VFW Honor Guard, honoring a veteran as he was laid to rest. This is something he did many times, dozens of times, maybe hundreds of times, going to the cemetery to honor those veterans, to be at their graveside where they were respected and respectfully laid to rest. It's a little bit ironic that he was coming back from a funeral when a driver who wasn't paying attention smashed into his motorcycle and his life ended when he was just a few miles from home, never made it back home. And now, a few days later, he was back on his way to Camp Nelson in a flag-draped casket. And he was escorted by dozens of motorcycles, and it did sound like thunder. There was all kinds of motorcyclists out there that day paying respects. Hundreds and hundreds of people showed up, and these are people that knew him from being a bus driver at the public schools. These are people that knew him from calling bingo at the church or sitting next to him in the pews at the church, or from the Knights of Columbus or the VFW, or doing volunteering to help do income taxes at the public library with AARP. So he had so many people that lives he touched. He loved motorcycles, rode those motorcycles for many, many years. And the last day of his life, he was riding a motorcycle. And the last trip he made was the final trip. They had a special, I have never seen anything like this. They had a special hearse that was pulled by a 3-wheeled Harley-Davidson, and it was called The Last Ride. So his ride from the church to the cemetery was about a 45-minute ride accompanied by many motorcycles and the big American flags flying. One thing that touched me is we're going through the countryside, beautiful countryside in Kentucky with rolling hills. There was a job site with a bunch of construction workers out there digging a ditch. I don't know if they were burying pipes or cables. Anyhow, when they heard the motorcycles and saw the American flags, they stopped what they were doing. They silently held their hard hats over their hearts and stood at attention as the motorcade went by. That was very touching to me. And you know what I was thinking? Their parents raised them right. What an amazing thing to be married 49 years. They met in high school. They were high school sweethearts. After high school, Bill joined the U.S. Army, and Connie went to the University of Wisconsin in La Crosse to study education. After a few years in the Army, Bill got out and continued his education at Western Wisconsin Technical Institute, which they've now changed their name to just be called Western. While he was in the Army, they were separated, but they wrote letters to each other. Nowadays, we have all kinds of things like email and Skype and text messages, but in those days, it was a pen and a paper and a letter. And I know he also would record cassettes and send them home to the family. But after this long separation, they were married at the Catholic Church in Trempealeau. Bill was not raised Catholic, but in order to be married in the Catholic Church, he converted to Catholicism. The Czeskis are from a large Catholic family. Connie has many siblings. Bill and I also have many siblings because we're from a large blended family. All right, thank you for watching my video about my favorite t-shirt. In the future, I'm going to have more interesting videos, and I'm thinking maybe I'll ask other people about their favorite t-shirt.